bum 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 bum. What is up, folks? It's Casual Dad here, and today we're going to revisit an absolute classic that is the original Deus Ex way back in the day. One of my favorite games. I tend to replay this once every year, every couple years, but it's been a while, and so I'm busting out the Steam copy of the Game of the Year edition. I'm going to run through real quick just an introduction to the game, and then I'm actually going to create one. And we're going to play hard, not going to do realistic, it gets a little crazy. And so in this game, this is a classic spycraft sneaky RPG, action RPG I should say, from an era when they really were extremely popular, where they really haven't come back to yet. I haven't played another game like this one that does such a good job of story, skill progression, plot, voice acting, all that. It's really, really fun, and it's kind of appropriate now because we're looking at this sort of weird political, economic dystopia, and this actually really examines that in kind of a very cynical but also kind of fun and interesting way. One of the cool things about it is in this story, there are a lot of different perspectives, and none of them are 100% right, so you can kind of disagree with everyone through the entire story and kind of make your own way through it. But it's really cool the way that's presented, and kind of that there are characters that you can trust, there are characters that you cannot trust, and you really don't know who's who for a long time. Yeah, super cool game. So I'm going to go through that character creation. In this, you play the nano-augmented super police officer, JC, totally not Jesus Christ Denton, and you're a new nano-augmented soldier. I mean, I don't know, soldier, police officer. The line is a little blurred here. And you play this character at an era where nano-augmentation is new, but after a couple decades of mechanical augmentation. So you have people who've been rebuilding their bodies a la, oh geez, what is it? Oh, what is the game? Big one. Cyberpunk. A la Cyberpunk, where people are like removing parts of their bodies and replacing them, and then all of a sudden these people come along who can be augmented even more aggressively, but the augmentations are more subtle. They're a lot less invasive, and they just look human and have augmentations that are in some ways superior to the mechanical ones. And so these folks that spent all this time, these are actual human beings who suddenly are looking at their kind of a threat to their way of life because they are essentially becoming obsolete. And so there's that whole background of the whole story, but then there's a lot more to it too. So, I've talked too much. Jumping right into this. You start off with pistols. It is trained, and you can actually downgrade that. So that leaves you with your maximum skill points of 6575. You have all these skills you can invest in. All of these skills directly impact the game in a really meaningful way fairly quickly. But just to talk through it, you do want to max out one of your weapon skills. Through the course of the game, you do get skill points, but even with all the extra skill points you can get from progression, you can never max, I think, even 2 of them. Certainly you can max 1, but not more than that, just because the points are so high. And pistols are actually pretty effective early on without training, and we'll see that in this first mission. But rifles, there's also the different ceiling. So pistols, if they're absolutely maxed up, they're okay. Rifles, if they're absolutely maxed out, are just beyond dumb. One of the key things being that with a sniper rifle at maximum training, you can actually one-shot a security camera, which is incredibly helpful later in the game. So what you do want to go on your rifles, so upgrade that. And now you don't actually have to spend all of your skill points, but you can. So what you could do here is go straight to advanced with rifles. Now that's a risky play because you don't really get rifles in the first mission or 2, so that leaves you sort of untrained in the other things. But we have a really ideal amount of skill points here. Some of the other key traits are going to be your lockpicking, hacking, computers, electronics. And one of the ones I use the most is going to be lockpicking. But for me personally, I really, really enjoy swimming, because there are a lot of areas with water. This gives you longer breathe time underwater, lets you swim more quickly. A lot of secret or more interesting areas do involve swimming. It's the cheapest skill set, so I like to invest in this one. It can save a lot of frustration later in the game, and again is a very cheap way to spend your points. So I'll do that, and then I have some left. You do want at least rank 1 in computers, so we'll go ahead and do that too. Being able to hack computers really helps. In most cases in the game, you are able to find the logins for those computers, so you can kind of get around that. But sometimes it just takes a little longer to find that. Sometimes in a pinch you just want to hack one, and being able to hack the computer, which you need trained for, is really, really helpful. So that's where we're going to start. Just to recap, we have trained in computer, trained in swimming, and then advanced in rifles, which is going to come up a little ways down the road. So that's where we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and then I'll do an actual guide walkthrough of the first level in a follow-up video. Until next time.